here's my first hand I'm going to talk about. It is aces, and everybody knows how to play aces. But the reason I'm showing this is it's very simple, and it's a pretty simple hand. Sorry, I'm a newbie when it comes to this. But it's a very simple hand. We open UTG, we get called, and we fire away on the flop. We get raised, and we just get it in. And I only show this for the simple reason that there's just hands you need to pick where you're just not going to fold. And so you're never going to fold aces on that flop ever. It's not something you should consider. It's not something that I think Martin ever considered before, but I thought I'd show it anyways. Here's another one of these simple hands, ace-king. You have a hand, again, there's a raise and a jam, but ace-king's way too strong to ever fold, and you should always be getting it in there at pretty much every stage of every tournament, and hitting the ace on the river is always good. The next hand, and so part of what I talk about too is opening a lot and trying to get in a lot of hands. And not trying to get in a lot of hands, you know, with nothing, but trying to get in like positive spots. So spots where you can play position post flop and you can win some pots. And so this next hand, I think, is a very positive play. We didn't win the hand, but that's not important to me. What's important to me is, you know, the way we played the hand. So it comes around, there's a limper, and King 10 suited was it ahead of the limper's range. Hard to say. I wasn't watching this player closely to see if they were limping, but definitely we have position, so we don't need as good a hand. And we end up folding because there's a jam and an all in. It's and a call. It's not that big a deal, but it turns out the guy has ace 9, which King 10 suited versus ace 9. Even King 10 suited diamonds on that flop, even though he hits a 9. King 10 suited is not a bad hand to have. And he's a little short to be pushing around, but I still like the play. I really like the play. It's something that I don't think Martin had in his game before, and it's something that he started doing, which is really good. So something I wanted to mention quickly too, and I've pointed this out on a lot of videos. It wasn't such a good part of this tournament, but again, this is almost a 1,000-hand tournament, so we have a huge spot. But from hand 86 to 147, which is I think right here, and 147, we play almost no hands, like literally no hands. We have a huge gap, and you can see because of that we're down to 10 big blinds. Now, I didn't go through here just for timing's sake. I didn't go through and say, oh, you should have played this, you should have played that, you should have played this. But the point is, we want to try not to be so short. And so what happens at 147 till the next hand I'm going to show, which is 251, there's just a lot of jams. So you can see, there's like a jam here with kings, and really we need big hands to play because we're just so short. We can't do anything unless we have big hands. So it makes for really boring videos, and he knows when to shove. There's no issue with him knowing when to shove. So the next hand I want to show is hand 251. So hand 251, I really like the way this hand was played. So you can see we have 30 big blinds, which is enough to make some plays and cause some trouble. And we get flatted by a guy on the button, and we get kind of a ginish flop. A lot of people check this flop because they're trying to trap their opponent, but I really like Martin's bet sizing here, and it's a lot of what we talked about. Is bet something. Make it look like you have ace-king. If you had ace-king, what would you bet here? And a lot of the stuff that Martin wasn't doing right, check raising here would be colossally terrible, because chances are the villain hasn't hit this flop at all. But the way the game is played today, and what I noticed so much lately, is people like to make plays on especially really dry flops. And besides the hard draw, this is a pretty dry flop. So by betting here, a lot of times you're going to induce a raise. Oftentimes, a guy who's going to flat a hand on the button, we don't know exactly what he has, but he's obviously the type to flat a hand on the button. This guy's not going to just give up on this pot that easily. And you can see he calls. The turn's a heart, which is a little bit scary, but it gives the villain a chance now to make a play, and we don't change our bet sizing. So you can see Martin bets 3,600 again, and this guy 3x's it. Now, Martin has a choice here. The villain's repping a flush. So he's repping a flush. Does he have a flush? I don't know. Typically, a guy with a flush here is going to just call again.